Hey guys, so today I'm going to talk about why it is important to not be ruled by your tools. And I mean, like, to not be a slave to your tools, but instead to master your tools within your life so that they serve you and not the other way around. So, I guess before we even talk about why it is important to not be a slave to tools, we should probably explain, or I should explain what I mean by tools. And really, everything is a tool. Every single thing you can think of, even some vices which people would consider bad, could be used as a tool to your benefit. It's all about moderation. So let's start with an easy one. Your bed is a tool. It gives you rest and you can sleep, rejuvenates you. What else? Books are tools for learning and for entertainment. Um, but a book can be detrimental if you let the book, sorry, excuse me, if you let the book rule you. So, what do I mean by that? Well, if you are reading a book and you are getting caught up on every single word, trying to soak up as much as you can from that book, you are no longer being served by the book. You are serving the book. It's kind of hard to explain, but there is a big difference between being served by a tool and serving a tool. Now, why would people serve a tool? I mean, who the hell wants to be a slave? Everyone wants to be a master. So what is the rationale behind serving your tools? Well, I guess another way of saying serving your tool would be idolizing your tool or worshiping your tool. Um, so I think the best way to kind of describe what I'm trying to get across is an example. So why would someone want to worship a tool? Well, because they think that tool will help them, and they think the more effort they put into that tool will therefore output equally as much as they input. Well, so like, okay, what is an example? So I used to, well, I'm currently, I have a reading log journal that I keep. I might post a picture of it. Um, I'm reading currently like 5 books right now, probably like 6 books. And I'm very bad at getting books and not finishing them. So that's why I have so many. But I'm okay. I'm promising myself no more books until I finish these. But anyways, it is a log that I use to keep track of how much I've read throughout the day. Now, the reason I do this is because I struggle with feeling content at the end of the day, feeling satisfied that I've completed enough work to warrant rest at the end of the day. I always feel like I should do more. So I started to keep a journal to keep track of my the work that I do, and initially it was euphoric, like, and it evolved. It originally it was for books, but then it started to cover all aspects of my daily life, such as how many minutes do I spend meditating. I would write that down. If it's like 10 minutes, I'm like, boom, 10 minutes down. And I would set goals for myself for certain stuff, like how many YouTube videos can I watch per day. And it was cool the first few days where I would meet those goals and I would keep setting them higher, but eventually I burned out and I realized I was serving that journal. That journal was not serving me. A tool is meant to rejuvenate you and nothing else. It is supposed to make you feel happy, satisfied, rested, and rejuvenated. So, if I have a struggle with feeling content, and that journal provided respite for a few days, well, how did I remedy it? How did I change it to where it is serving me and not the other way around? Because I am currently keeping a log. Now, when I first started doing this, that was early this year. I quit using it for a few months. I've come back to it, but I've matured. So, um, what changed? Well, initially, if I read some insane amount of pages, like 20 pages of a book, then I would give myself like a special badge, like, hey, I've read this many pages. But like I said, that actually did not help. It hindered me because then I was expected the next day to do as much, if not more. So what I've implemented is keeping a cap on how much I actually do throughout the day. Instead of having like a limitless cap where if I read 1,000 pages, I would write down 1,000 pages, I only have 5 pages. If I read more than 5 pages, it doesn't get documented or it doesn't get checked on my checkbox that I've read that many pages. So that's what I do. 5 pages is the max, and the minimum, and this is also important, is 1 paragraph. If I just read 1 paragraph, then I get a check on. I'll have to post a picture to explain this, but I get a check mark on the box for that book, and it kind of encourages me to try it, even if I'm not going to get that much done. At least I'm building a habit. So I'm habit building. So that is how I've transformed that journal into a tool that serves me. We've established that people rely on tools like a crutch. Actually, I was going to say this. So a good analogy for overusing tools or being over reliant on tools is kind of like you're in a pool and you don't know how to swim, or you're in the ocean and you're panicking and you're just begging someone to throw you a life raft or like a float to stay afloat. You feel like you're going to drown. Well, someone would actually be hurting you. I mean, this isn't a perfect example. Obviously, you want to give someone like a life raft if they can't swim, but it's kind of like the saying, sink or swim. If you are always given a life raft, you're never going to learn how to swim. You kind of have to fend for yourself in order to learn that you can be independent of tools. You can have a sense of self without having to rely on your environment purely. You can cultivate a sense of self, which is very important. So what is another example of a tool and overusing a tool? Well, for me is Minecraft. That's a good example. I used to get addicted to video games, and not for the fun of it. That's a big misconception. A lot of people who get addicted to Minecraft or video games do not do it for the fun. They do it because they think they are building something that will translate into the real world. And that might kind of be hard to understand, but like, it is out of self-improvement. It is out of trying to use Minecraft as a tool. If you just do it for the fun, then it is a tool. But if you do it for self-improvement, then it's not a tool. So I want to say this. Self-improvement, tools should only be used to make you happy, healthy, and rejuvenated and rested, and inspired. Those are tools. Anything that does not do that is not a tool. So self-improvement needs to be tempered. You should obviously want to self-improve, but don't make it a religion. Self-improvement could be compartmentalized into a tool in of itself, but you just need moderation. Now, what do I mean by self-improvement can be a tool? Well, it is a constant that you can base all activities upon. If you are improving, it's hard to explain, but it's like a constant that you can kind of use to guide you and to give you guidance for making decisions. Self-improvement can be good, but it has to be used in moderation. Moderation is a huge theme within what I'm trying to say. The ancient Greeks talked about moderation. I know Galen of Pergamon, I read a book about him. He was a physician during the 2nd century AD in Rome. He talks a lot about balance and moderation. Well, what is moderation? If that is the answer to being able to master your tools and not have them master you, well, what is moderation? Like, what is the right amount for each thing? And the answer to that is, it entirely depends on you and your circumstances. You can't find that through books or from philosophy. It is something introspective, something that you have to uncover within you. It's a journey, and that's why I say self-improvement can be used as a tool, because it does keep you in bounds. But just do not make self-improvement a religion, because that will harm you. So, using a tool is as bad. Using a tool when you don't need to use a tool is as bad as not using a tool when you do need to use a tool. Because it causes it. Okay, so how do you sharpen your tools? How do you make a tool work for you instead of just simply dulling it by overusing or abusing a tool? How do you make them work for you? How do you sharpen a tool? Well, the answer is quite simple. It is simply not relying on that tool. The more you journal, the less beneficial journaling becomes. Like, if you write down every minute detail of the day, thinking that it will somehow help you down the line, well, that's it, the less value each page, each word, each sentence has within that journal. Now, if you were to journal maybe once a week or maybe a few lines a day, then looking back, you treasure what you've written. You value it so much more. So it's a big thing about being moderate with your tools. Okay, the video is almost over. I just want to get this other point out. So rest is so not being productive, just being a couch potato, can be as beneficial as being productive. It just requires rest. It's a balance, like when I was saying about the Greeks. It's about balance, yin yang. You cannot work hard unless you rest a lot, or you rest, but you cannot rest unless you've worked hard. And those who've played sports know, days that you work out, you come home, you are asleep, like snap. You are asleep. Same goes for working. If you don't get rest that you need, then you burn out. So rest is a tool, but you have to be very cautious. Be vigilant. Do not overuse one or the other. It's about moderation, and that is what tools are. A tool. Just practice moderation. I guess that's the theme of this video. Know that, practice moderation. Do not worship a tool. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you enjoyed this, or if you found any resonance, please leave a like. Really appreciate it, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.